It's the prop shop. It's the prop talk. I don't know. That's a new jingle. I don't even know what that was. I don't know where that came from, but it came out. It was something.
Okay. You had a long day, bub. That's fine. We're going to go with that shit. And we're live. That's the best part.
We are live. We are here. Walito's rocking with us in the chat. All is right in the world. What is up, everybody? It is the TFA Week 13 Prop Talk. It's your boys coming at you once again. Tom Corson and Cody Kutzer. You can find us on Twitter at CKutzerFF for myself and at Dynasty Infidel for Sir Tom Corson. DJ Quicks in the YouTube chat. I see you, DJ Quicks. I see you. Tom, say what's up to the people, and let's get into this before I just burst, like spontaneously combust. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what's happening right now. I'm blacking out as I talk.
I don't know either. Cody's over here working like 14-hour days for like a month and a half fucking straight. Black Friday got to him a little bit, and now he wants to go postal on some people because he's got to go into work tomorrow instead of working on Sunday, which, you know what? I can respect it. But, you know, let's make some motherfucking money. Cody, I'm going to give you the floor first. I know. Let's change some things up a little bit, and let's go, baby.
Oh, thank you, sir. This is an unexpected, gentlemanly thing for you to do. I was not expecting that.
That's fine. Well, I'll give you a little bit of time to compose yourself. Walito's over here saying Tyreek over 74.5 receiving yards. That is not one of my props because I felt like it was too goddamn obvious. So yes, put some money down on Tyreek. He's another guy like DK. You just roll with it, throw some money down on him every single week, and you're probably going to make some money. So, Code, kick us off, and let's get to it.
Speaking of obvious, that is a nice little segue here. I'm going Nick Chubb over 83.5 rushing yards. Now, the only times that Nick Chubb hasn't smashed every single week this year has been, one, if they get completely blown out like they did week 1 against Baltimore. He didn't hit the line then. Or if his knee bends a way that it shouldn't and he gets injured like it did week 4 against Dallas. Other than that, Chubb has gone over 100 yards in every single game. Like the Titans look decent on paper because they're kind of sitting like middle of the pack or bottom half of the league in terms of total rushing yards given up to running backs. But they can absolutely be had on the ground. I don't think that they are the defense that we saw last year. I mean, they gave up 78 to Melvin. Now, obviously, that's not hitting this line, but it's not like Melvin has been going out and balling out. So I think that's a pretty solid line to give up to Melvin. They gave up over 100 to James Robinson at the beginning of the year before like we really knew what James Robinson was going to be. Gave up 181 to Dalvin. And I think that is relatable here because that's obviously a similar run scheme that they have between Minnesota and Cleveland. They gave up 82 to James Conner. It's not like James Conner has been balling out this year. And then they also gave up some lines to some lesser running backs. They gave up 62 and a touchdown to Gio. They gave up 70 yards on the ground and a touchdown to Nyheim Hines. And they also gave up like 70 or 75 in a score to J.K. Dobbins the other week. So, like I said, it's easy. It's low-hanging fruit. But I don't care. Money is money. Nick Chubb over 83.5.
Sometimes that's what you have to do. And you know what? We're talking about obvious things right now. And by the way, guys, we're going to get to all your comments after we get through our props, and then we'll go through everything because I love that everybody's throwing out props on the chat as opposed to start-to-sit questions because that's the wheelhouse right now. Start-to-sit questions are great, but let's get some gambling going on. You know what I mean?
Walito is onto something.
Yep.
I may be talking about that.
All right. Okay. Well, you know what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about Davante Adams right now, okay? And I don't know what that little shimmy was, but we can't edit it out, so it's going to stay in. I love it. I don't know how many alcoholic beverages you had. It's probably just one, but it doesn't even matter at this point. It's fantastic. You're being the idiot tonight. And I get to just,
Listen, after the 3 glasses of wine that you had on the TFA Dino show, I feel like I need to take over. I'm going to give your liver a break, and I'm going to punish mine. So what is your first prop with Adams? That's a cute little straw you have.
It's a Yeti. It's a Yeti, sir. Ever heard of it? Be more civilized, you fuck. All right, Davante Adams, 84.5 receiving yards, 6.5 receptions. I like them both. I feel like the reception is a little bit safer. I'll get into it. But Adams' last 2 games against Darius Slay, because they're going up against the Eagles, he went 9 for 140 in 2018 and 7 for 93 in 2019. Last 2 years, he's only played 1 game against them. I think Slay basically said, hey, can you take a break on me or some shit like that? Well, guess what? He only plays 1 game against the Eagles this year, and he's about to go ham. Darius Slay's coming off the worst performance of, I think, his career against DK Metcalf, where he went 10 for 177 and literally stole Slay's lunch money. I saw it happen live multiple times. It was horrifying. Now I guess to follow that up with Davante Adams. Congratulations, Darius. Now you get Davante Adams instead of, DK Metcalf. It's just a mess. You could kind of argue that Slay's going to be like hyped up for this game and, want to make things up to the team, whatever, be accountable. But Adams he doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? He's an absolute monster this year. I know the Eagles didn't have Slay last time they played, but last time Adams went 10 for 180 against Philly, and that was last year early on. I'm pretty sure he had like 130 at the half or something like that, or 100 in the first quarter. It's just bonkers. There's blood in the water in Philly. I know. I'm about 6 miles from the stadium, and Adams is going to go hunting. That being said, I think the receptions are a little safer. He's gone over 6 catches in 5 of his last 6. The only one was the last game. That was because of a blowout. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a blowout tomorrow against Philly. Philly, for whatever reason, as bad as they've been, they haven't lost a game by more than 10 points except against the Rams, I believe. Last week they should have, and they had that backdoor cover, which cost a lot of people some money. But at the same time, they're keeping games relatively close, so I think the reception is a little bit safer. I do like both. The yards has better odds, so it's not a lot. It's 118 or minus 125. So I like them both. Adams should absolutely destroy the Eagles tomorrow and hopefully put a nail in Howie Roseman's coffin.
Yeah, whenever I hit you up earlier today because I knew I was going to be late working, I was like, tell me the ones that you're thinking about, because if you weren't going to talk about Davante Adams, I was absolutely going to. So I'm glad that you touched on him. I think it's just one of those obvious smash weeks for him. Now, Alito was rocking with us in the chat. As always, we appreciate you being here, man. He said David Montgomery over 61.5 rushing yards. On FanDuel, it's at 66.5 rushing yards, and I am still taking that. I could basically just say the Lions are bad, and that should suffice in terms of analysis. But I'll give you a little bit more. The Lions are giving up the 4th most rushing yards to running backs. They just lost Danny Shelton to IR on the defensive line. They're not going to have Deshaun Hand either. Oh, and also there's no Jeff Okudah, and they just lost Trufant to IR as well. So even if the Bears come out and go full bear on this and they don't absolutely smash the way they should in this matchup, I don't think they're going to get blown out by the Lions either, because they're also, I think Kenny G is also out again, and DeAndre Swift is questionable with whatever he has going on between that concussion or an illness. Or, he's questionable for Sunday as well. So even if they don't absolutely smash and they're not leading this entire game, they're not going to be behind by much. Montgomery should absolutely have enough volume to get over the 66.5 rushing yards. He hit, what was it last week, 103 rushing yards, I believe, on like 11 carries against the Packers. Now, granted, a lot of that was on that 57-yard run, but I think he's going to be able to pick up chunk yardage here against the Lions as well. So Monty over 61.5, yes. Monty over 66.5, also yes.
All right. I like it. You're up still, big guy. Was that your bet? Or was that your, did you agree? You agreed with him?
Yeah.
I thought you just had all that knowledge off the top of your head.
I'm not.
Because you're that good.
I'm good, but I'm not that good. That is my second one. I'm rocking here with Walito. Me and Walito,
right.
Same page. Same.
All right, I like it. If you follow me on Twitter, I said, guess what, guys? It's Cam Akers week. It's here. It's finally here. All right, so I'm going Cam Akers over. Go ahead, Code.
No, DJ Quicks is rocking with us in the chat, and he just said touchdown question mark. I'm assuming he's referring to David Montgomery, and at FanDuel he is at plus 120 for a touchdown. I like that. And A-Rob is at plus 135 for a touchdown. I also like that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. He may have been talking about AJ Brown.
Well, he was, and he put TD again.
Right. Okay. Well, is somebody getting 2 TDs? I like it. Let's get 2 touchdowns. Who knows? All right. So it's Cam Akers week. I don't know if Cam Akers is going to blow the hell up. I would really like him to. Based on the traction that he's been gaining, I could see it. But it's Cam Akers over 33.5 yards at minus 112 over at FanDuel.
I like it.
You should. Every game Cam Akers has received over 5 carries, he's topped 35 yards. So it's 35. Yeah. 35 I think was the closest he came there. So that 4 out of the 5 games he's received carries, he's gone over 33.5 yards. I'm sorry about that. I misspoke there. He's finally looking like the best running backs for the Rams. I don't think Henderson has looked that good since he came back from the injury. He doesn't have the explosiveness. Malcolm Brown's still going to get his, but we saw Cam Akers pop that 61-yard run last week. It was beautiful. I literally saw Sean McVay put his play sheet in front of his crotch. It was like he was a 13-year-old boy sitting in math class, had a half a Chubb, and the next thing you know, that asshole teacher called him up to the board to solve a damn equation, and he had to put the book in front of his pants. I digress. He was excited. I think he's going to show that excitement, give him some more carries, and guess what? Cam Akers, over 33.5 rushing yards. That's going down.
Unlike his boner, apparently. That's staying up.
Yeah, it is. It's going to just keep getting more and more. It's going to be, engorged.
Yeah. Engorged. My God. What a word. Engorged.
I bet you didn't think you would hear that on a top video.
This is the kind of vocabulary we get whenever you're not drinking wine. We get engorged.
Yep. There you go.
I mean, that's his fault anyway. Everyone knows you tuck it up into your waistband.
Listen, sometimes when you're wearing those pants, have you seen the khakis? There's not a lot of room there. He's got the tight pants and everything. It
might be uncomfortable, but it's either being comfortable or control your erection. You know what I mean? Jesus, get it together, McVay. Anyway, I'm going with the trifecta at. I don't even know a segue for that, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm going with a running back trifecta. I'm going all rushing yards as well. You talked about Cam Akers. I'm going to talk about another rookie running back, and that is Jonathan Taylor, over 55.5 rushing yards. Now, I do get it that they might go with a hot hand approach, and that it might be Nyheim Hines who sees more carries than Jonathan Taylor does, because for whatever reason, it's like they forgot how to call plays and run an offense up in Indy. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But even with Jonathan Taylor not getting the full workload, even with Jonathan Taylor not just being treated as the complete workhorse, and Nyheim Hines definitely deserves touches. I don't want to, I'm not shitting on Nyheim Hines. He is a good running back. He deserves touches. But Jonathan Taylor should be the workhorse. He hasn't been, but that hasn't even mattered. 55.5 rushing yards. He has hit this in 6 of his 10 games this season. It's a low benchmark. Oh, and to make this a little bit easier, just in case you need a little bit more push to go in on JT on this here prop bet of over 55.5 rushing yards, they're playing the Texans. And again, the same thing with the Lions. I should just be able to just end it there, but I'll give you a little bit more just to make myself sound better, to back it up a little bit. Texans are giving up the most rushing yards to running backs on the season at over 1,500 yards, I think. They've just been gashed by everybody. Phillip Rivers is apparently nursing a pretty serious toe injury, so I can't imagine that they're going to go out here and just have him drop back 45 times. I think they're going to try to control the run game. I think DeForest Buckner is back, so that's going to be a big help to that defense. Oh, and also on the opposite side, no Will Fuller, no Kenny Stills. So I think they might have some trouble moving the ball, which means that should play into the game script for Jonathan Taylor a little bit more. Just over the past couple of weeks, the Texans just gave up 55 yards to dusty ass, crusty ass Adrian Peterson.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Listen. First ballot Hall of Famer, right now, dusty, crusty ass AP. And they also gave up 46 rushing yards to Kerryon fucking Johnson, which he's not a thing. He was never going to be a thing. He's not a thing. Stop.
He's only got one leg, I think.
He might. And that he actually might be better with one leg than two, to be honest. Kerryon Johnson was never going to be a thing. I'm glad I was never on that train. Ain't getting me there. I might go down with some other ones. Not going down on that one. Chubb and Hunt completely fucking torched them, ran all over them. They both went over 100. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, his first game in the NFL, went over 100 yards against them. They gave up 99 yards to James Robinson recently. 55.5 is super attainable. Unless for whatever reason Frank Reich comes out here and decides, like, you know what, we're just gonna let Trey Burton be our running back this week. We're not going to use JT or Nyheim Hines. That is the only way that JT doesn't hit 55.5 this week.
Listen, Trey Burton is actually more of a quarterback, if you remember the Philly special. Hey, yeah. That's the only thing I'm living on now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you bet you have to hold on to that.
That's it. I got it. All right, my last bet. I'm going Justin Jefferson over 67.5 receiving. Last 3 games, he's had over 70 or more. With the game against Jacksonville, he's given up the 6th most yards against receivers. I like him to stay hot. Adam Thielen's going to be coming back, but again, he's done perfectly fine with Adam Thielen in the lineup. It's not like he's going to just go down to like 3 targets. We've also talked about how statistically he's the best deep threat in football. He still is. He can do a lot on just a few targets. I don't expect him to get anything less than 7 targets, and he's got a 17.7 yards per catch rate. So it's also possible they throw a little bit more to maybe give Dalvin a break because he's coming off of the ankle injury. There's no Madison this week, so they're going to be relying on third running backs out there if they're going to do that. So if they can get, CJ Ham or something like CJ Ham, that's great, in for some pass protection to give Dalvin a break, we might see an uptick in some Cousins, passes. So that's going to play well for Justin Jefferson. That's it. I like it over 67.5, and let's call that a day and get to it making some money.
Matt Asiata coming back this week, by the way.
Who?
Just Matt Asiata, just 1 week coming back.
Okay. All right.
180 yards, and he just rides out into the sunset.
That's fine. Whatever. As long as Justin Jefferson gets his, then it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, we did have some comments on some of these props, which, like you said, is very nice. Normally we have to sit here and go through a bunch of start, set, and lineup questions, but I like that the props are gaining traction. Yeah, DJ Quick's AJ Brown touchdown, absolutely. I mean, going up against the Browns, I think damn near anything is in play. I do like his receiving total, which is sitting at a very nice 69.5. And I also like Corey Davis this week as well. Corey Davis has very quietly been really solid. He was one of my hits last week, and I'm not going to talk about my misses because I will be here all day just bitching and ranting and raving just into nothingness. Like you're going to come back next week. I'm going to be sitting in the same spot in the same clothing, just ranting about how tilted I am about last week. I'm not even going to get into it. I need to stop talking about it now. Walito also talking about Nick Chubb over 7.5 receiving yards. Listen, it is not. It is actually not that easy. Walito. No. It should be. Last week he was actually sitting at 3.5 receiving yards because he has been that uninvolved in the passing game. Now, obviously he smashed that because for whatever reason Kareem Hunt wasn't getting the targets.
Thanks.
So it should be. But that could also be a trap, and that is super sad saying that at 7.5 receiving yards. It is very sad, but it is not as much of a smash as you would think. He was sitting at 7.5, not last week, but the week before, because I mentioned something to Tom about it, and then the week after he was sitting at 3.5. Tyler Moore, Jonathan Taylor receiving yards. Do you know what that is, Tom?
Off the top of my head, I think it was 13.5, but
Oh
I
yeah, he
can.
Tyler posted 13.5 for
Was it?
Taylor. Yeah.
Okay. DraftKings says 14.5. I mean, the Colts are really tough to predict with the running back position. That's what we talked about. You basically said everything with taking the rushing yards because you don't know what the usage is. I mean, Jonathan Taylor could have 7 yards receiving and 3 carries, or he could have 15 carries and no targets. You just don't know with him. That being said, I still like that. It's just more. It's like a 55 to 45 chance that it's going to hit, just because the game script, you have no idea what it's going to be out there with Indy.
Yeah.
I like it. I'd put some shekels on it. I don't mind it at all. It's just it's risky because fucking Frank Reich, man.
What do you think about Nyheim Hines at 26.5 receiving yards?
I like that more than dude. I can't with the Colts running backs, tell you the truth, because I want to say on face value, I want to say, yeah, I like that a little bit more because sometimes he goes out and he crushes that with receiving in the roles that they should be playing. Jonathan Taylor should basically be 1-2. Hines should be like getting all the receiving work, and that's what he should be. But that's not what we have. So I can't. I have to abstain from Jonathan Taylor at this point and Hines.
So here's Nyheim Hines' receiving totals: 45, 4, 40, 8, and then he hits 22, 27, 54, 20, 45, 31, 66.
Listen, I like I said, I don't. I think that's safer than Jonathan Taylor receiving yards, but I still don't. I don't love it just because of the risk factor in there. I like to try and mitigate risks with some of them, and when you have an X factor like a running back rotation as such, it's tough. You see it in Cleveland with the receiving yards. Kareem Hunt should be getting receiving yards every single week, like 30 to 40 to 50 yards, and he should have a shit ton of targets every single week, but you don't see it. So it's tough when you have that split and you just can't tell who's going to be in there.
How do you feel about these reception totals that Walito is throwing out? Brandon Cooks and Michael Thomas over 4.5.
So I like the Michael Thomas one, the Brandon Cooks one. They're going to be shifting coverage towards him because Will Fuller isn't going to be there. That being said, I was looking at a bunch of Brandon Cooks props. Indy's pretty good against the pass. I think are they still top 5? I don't have that up currently, but they're pretty good against the pass, and their defense is pretty good to start with. That being said, again, he's going to be the guy. He should have 10-plus targets. It just depends on how they shift the coverage over to him and how they use him. I like the reception total for Brandon Cooks more than I like the yardage total because they could use him on those short screens, etc., as opposed to – I mean, he could have like 7 catches for 40 yards. You're just not sure about it. So I like the receptions for both of those guys.
Looks like the Colts are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Giving up the 11th fewest receiving yards.
Okay.
But yeah, I also do like Thomas more than Cooks. But I don't think either are necessarily bad. But I feel much better with MT over 4.5. What about Taysom, or like you like to say, Taysom Hill?
Taysom.
2 TDs at plus 275.
It's good to throw a little bit on. If you, I mean that's all going to be short, huh?
He hit that the first matchup against the Falcons. He had and I think he had 2 again last week, didn't he?
I think it last week, yeah. So there's going to be a point when I think they're going to start. They have to get Kamara more involved. I think they have to see that with their offense, and I don't know if it's this week or not. You could throw a little bit down on it. I wouldn't go crazy with that one. Again, the odds are plus 275, so you're probably not going to go crazy.
Yeah.
But that's going to be all based on short yardage scores. So Michael Thomas has to come, he has to get tackled at the 1 yard line again, essentially, for something like that to happen.
Are you with Kev on this?
I can't. I don't know. They're dead. They're dead to me, to tell you the truth. I don't even. It should be Miles Sanders smash week because Green Bay has been.
That was another one that I do like. I do. Yeah. We didn't talk about that one, but I do like him over. Listen, if David Montgomery can rip off a 57-yard run, Miles Sanders can do that too.
Yeah, he absolutely can. But he also has to have more than 8 carries. And I don't know. On the first drive, when you get them to jump and it's 1st and 5, and they then call 3 straight pass plays, I don't know. It's always possible that they overcorrect and they give him 30 touches just because whatever, and then the Carson Wentz smash thing, it completely goes away because of the efficiency. So I like Sanders a lot more than I like Carson Wentz. It could be, but Jair Alexander's back. You have Alshon out there wasting space, so Fulgham can't go out there and actually be a good football player. I haven't seen. I think Ertz was activated. I don't know if he's going to start. I don't know if he's playing tomorrow though. So I'm not positive on that. But yeah, Miles Sanders. If you're going to go with any Eagles, go with Miles Sanders rushing yards.
Yeah, I do like that one. Like I said, I think it was like 65 or 67.5. I believe. That is one I like. Now, DJ Quicks is trying to hit us with an under. We typically don't do unders on this show. It's over or nothing. He threw out Chris Carson under 57.5 rushing yards. On brand, I'm going to stay on brand, and I would take the over on that. I know that the Giants' defense has actually been really solid this year, contrary to how we view their team as a whole. But shout out to the TFA DFS show, the DFS D-Gen Nation. I was listening to them when I was at work today, and Maddie at Maddie DFS, I think his handle is. He was talking about that the Giants they're top of the leagues in terms of giving up the most explosive rushing plays to running backs. Obviously, Chris Carson looked pretty good last week coming off of his long injury stint. So on the year, the Giants are going to look good, but over the past 4 weeks, they've been giving up either the most or the second most explosive run plays. They are, 10.5 point favorites at home, I believe. So like Kev is saying in the chat, first of all, there's going to be no Daniel Jones. Even if Daniel Jones was playing, I think I would still take the over. But the fact that Daniel Jones is not going to be playing, Seahawks should be able to control that game. They've been rushing the ball a lot more. Russ is I don't know if they just need to go shopping. I don't know if their cupboards are getting bare, but Russ has not been cooking as much. I don't know if they just need to do some dishes. I don't know what's going on. They need to get back to letting Russ cook, but they've been rushing the ball a lot more recently. So I do like that over.
Yeah, I actually prefer that over as well. Last 3 games he's played in, he's either been injured, getting ready to go out, or he came back. So he had 8 rushes, 5 rushes, and 8 rushes. So I think they're going to give him more work because he looked good last week. 8 for 41. In those 3 games, he's averaged over 5 yards a carry. So with the game script the way it is, I think he'll get 12 to 15 carries. And if he gets 12 to 15 carries, he's going to go over that number.
Not sure how to feel about this one. Latavius Murray over 42.5. Obviously, he smashed last week.
Yeah, I don't like going back to players that just smashed that are backups because it's more of a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a deviation from what the standard should be, so to speak. he's not going to go out there and smash every single week. I don't expect him. They have to get Kamara more involved. That offense is bogged down because Kamara isn't getting the ball as much as he should be. And when he does, he's not as efficient because they're not throwing the damn ball. So the play action has been shot. So I think they have to get Kamara more involved. I think Murray is still, he'll contribute, but I don't know if it's going to be 42.5. It's more like 35 in my mind.
Yeah, this is one I don't feel great about either way. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he went over 42.5. Like, I wouldn't be surprised by that, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he was sitting around that 32 to 35, like you were just saying. Then Kev coming through on the stats here. The Seahawks offense is down from a 65% passing rate down to 56 the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
31 rushing attempts for Murray the last 2. We need Kev doing this more often. Like our little like researcher back there, like whenever we're talking about shit, Kev's just popping up the stats for us. We need to bring somebody on board like that. How do you feel about Cooper Kupp over 79.5 receiving yards? This one coming from Jake.
They're playing the Cardinals. I think that game should be a shootout. I think Arizona kind of gets back to what they have been doing. Kupp's been good, except for last week he shit the bed. But up to that, he was pretty hot. I think he had 3 to 4 games really good on his numbers in front of me, but I own him in enough leagues to know that I was off the Cooper train for a bit, and then he kind of got back on. So that is it's a decent size. I'm surprised his over is that high, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was kind of thinking as well. But obviously the Cards,
I would think it would be like 67.
Yeah, I thought he would be high 60s, low 70s, but not high 70s.
No. Oh wow. And so on DraftKings they have him at 63.5.
I like that one.
63.5 I like. He might be talking about like what he's projected for on like a certain site or something. 79.4. It could happen. The 63.5. I actually do like that. I like that prop, but 79.4. That's a lot.
Yeah, on FanDuel he's at 64.5. So
okay.
I do like those. So
yeah.
Jake, if you're feeling good about 79, find FanDuel or DraftKings where he's at the mid 60s and hit that. Walito, Tom, this one's coming to you from Walito. How do you feel about Goedert over 41.5?
So they've been using him deep lately, and he's actually been getting open, and Carson's been missing him. Even if Ertz comes back, I don't think they're going to use him as much. Goddard's going to be the tight end 1 this week, and they'll mix in Richard Rodgers and Zach Ertz in the 2 tight end sets there. So I do like that simply because he's been getting open deep, and he's getting enough targets where he can get that. So if Carson can just like calm himself the fuck down and just get 1 to him, like he should have had a 30-some yarder, and then he should have had like a 25-yarder. Then he should get that. I actually like that number quite a bit.
How do you feel about? I'm gonna look something up. And Kev, if you're still rocking with us in the chat, drop a comment. How do you feel about DJ Quick's Tyreek Hill 2 touchdowns?
So off the top of my head, I think he's had the last 4 games 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 3 touchdowns, which is absolutely ridiculous when you look at it. I think the lowest receiving yard he's had was 98 yards, and he went absolutely bonkers last week. If you got some shekels, throw it down there. I think I always like to minimize risk with certain things, and that's something that could definitely happen. So sure, why the hell not? Denver's been decent against the pass this year, but it's Tyreek Hill. If you went, okay, Tampa's been good against the pass, and what did he do against them last week? So it doesn't even matter. And the amount of targets he's getting too, and down in the red zone, he's getting the targets too. It's not just like, okay, it's all Kelsey in the red zone. Tyreek's getting it too. So I like that. I might throw some money down on that.
He has hit 2 or more touchdowns in. No, obviously I don't know how. Go ahead. What's your guess?
I'm gonna guess 4 games.
10. And
I'm talking about this year.
Oh, this year? No, in his career, 10 of 40. 10 of 45 games. Yeah. He has hit 2 or more.
He's obnoxious. he's obnoxiously good.
This year has been 1, 2, 3. But those
3?
Yeah, and it's been 3 of his 4 last games too, though.
Yeah, right.
James Conner situation.
Haven't heard anything. It's similar to the Lamar and Andrews situation. I don't think we're going to – I'm going to be so mad. They need to make that call before like the 1 o'clock games just for fantasy football purposes. The Conner situation is tough because they play on Tuesday, right, Code?
I think Monday. I think we have like the Monday afternoon game.
Is that the Monday afternoon?
I think it was the Baltimore. I think it was the Baltimore game that was pushed to Tuesday. Correct?
Yeah. Okay. I think you're right. Okay. So if it's Tuesday, I think you can pull them off that list the day before, which is why it's risky to start those Ravens. Conner, we might have clarity before. The games start tomorrow. If the games start tomorrow and you don't hear anything about James Conner, I would not risk it.
Yes, I agree. Sorry. I think my child is still awake, so we're going to his bedtime is 2 hours ago. So let's talk about these last couple. Kenny Drake over 10.5.
He hasn't done that much.
He has actually done it twice.
Right.
And it's been the past 2 weeks. He had 31 against Seattle and then 15 against New England. So I just don't feel
I don't trust it.
Yeah. But again, that's like the same one.
I hate unders. But I wouldn't bet the under on that, but I also wouldn't bet the over.
Yeah. Well, Lido coming out with some ones that are would it surprise me if he goes over 10.5? No. Right. Would it surprise me if he had 7? That would not surprise me either.
Lido, we don't like to do that shit here. We like to do the smash bet.
Yeah, we like the easy ones, you asshole. Give us an easy one. Yeah. Karn's asking, would you start Wayne Gallman? I hope you have a better. Yeah, Kev asked them. Karn rocks with us a bunch during the week on our live streams. I don't like it. I mean, obviously depending on your options, but in a vacuum, I mean, I'd probably rather start Gio Bernard over him. I'm trying to think of someone who might be, in that kind of range, like Gio. If you're still with us, go ahead and throw out if you have any other options.
It's not horrible if you have to do it, because Seattle's going to score points. Gallman can be involved in the passing game, and he gets those, goal line situations. So, I mean, if you're looking for 8 to 12 points and you're going to be okay with that, then that's fine.
Yeah, it would also depend on what the rest of your lineup looks like. Like if the rest of your lineup is looking good, and like you said, you're okay with Wayne Gallman possibly getting you single-digit points, then I guess that's fine. But if you need upside, if it looks like the person you're going up against this week has a stronger lineup, and if you're kind of needing to win to get in, I would just I would rather go and pick up Cam Akers off of waivers and just shoot for ceiling in that instance. Last one let's touch on, unless Karn lets us know who else he has. How do you think about James Robinson over 77.5?
I think betting James Robinson rushing yardage numbers is pretty good. I think I've done that on this show. How many times, Code? 2 or 3. I've also mixed in his receiving, and you know what?
we've done receiving. We've done receiving yards with him. We've James Robinson has been a mainstay on the TFA Prop Talk.
Yeah, so the last 5 games, he's got 119, 99, 109, 73. Ooh, but with a caveat, that 73 was against Pittsburgh, who's been one of the top rushing defenses in the league all season.
Yeah.
And then he rounds it out with 128 against Cleveland. So I always like James Robinson props, especially with the rushing. And, I like that.
Samesies. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here on that. Karn, if you're still listening, shoot me a DM, and I'll help you out with your lineup. Or if anyone needs some lineup help, just drop a comment on any of the videos. We'll get notified, and we'll answer you on the YouTube comments. Tomorrow, I will not be on the Sunday show. It's going to be a little DFS show on the Sunday show. The DFS boys are coming and going to be leading off on the Sunday show. So if you have any questions, join us at 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll be live until 12:30, and that'll be Kev, Ryan, and Maddie, like I said, from the DFS DGen Nation show. Eric Dickinson sliding this one in, then we're going to get out of here as soon as we answer this one. Leaning towards starting Gallman, Taylor at running back, and Chark at flex. Other options are Hunt, CD, Mike Williams, Hardman, and Snell.
I'd go Hunt over Gallman.
Yes. Would you put anybody in over Chark?
I would probably keep Shark in there. They're all in like the same tier, in my opinion. Shark, CD, and Mike Williams are in that. Who knows what the hell they're going to do, but they could go ham tier. So I'll stick with Shark. Mike Glennon didn't actually look horrible last week. So I'll go Shark.
Yeah, I don't feel
Shark.
I don't feel great. I don't feel great about any of those other options, but I would go Hunt over Gallman. Walito, these motherfuckers ordering all this Amazon bullshit. That is why. My ass.
It's probably Walito doing this shit.
It probably is. Walito, you know exactly what you're doing. You do something with loads, Kev. I don't know if it's carry 'em. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Join us again live tomorrow, 11:30. 11:08. My God, I'm done.
You're not showing up, so you don't even give a shit. Show up tomorrow before 1:00, and they'll be here.
We appreciate you guys. If you're rocking with us for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at @CKutzerFF. Follow Tom at Dynasty Infidel. You can find the TFA channel on YouTube, obviously. And then we're also on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll be picking up our social media presence a little bit more here as over the next couple of weeks. So we appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great week 13, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye.